This slowdown is for you to take with you on a walk in the woods. You might hear the crunching of leaves under my feet, or that I'm a little out of breath myself going on a walk in the woods. I encourage you, wherever you are, make sure that you are safe. If you are listening to this with headphones, definitely leave one headphone out to be aware of your surroundings for safety. And whenever you're ready, you can continue. You can press pause if you want to get situated first. And as you go on this walk, I encourage you to first put a hand on the top of your chest and apply a little bit of pressure. And just notice what it feels like as your feet hit the ground, the bottom of your feet pressing against the ground, and then your hand pressing against your chest. Just kind of noticing that pressure or that compression in those different spots, letting it ground you. And you can take a few nice deep breaths, noticing how much of your chest is rising, how much of your abdomen is filling with air. Are you breathing deeply? Do you feel like there's a tension or a shallowness to your breath? And wherever you are, as you continue walking, you can place your hand down. And I encourage you to just kind of wiggle and stretch out your arms and your legs. I know it might look really silly if other people are around you, but kind of let yourself do a little shake out, a little ring out, and then take a nice deep breath. Sighing as you exhale. And as you continue your walking, notice your cadence. Notice the rhythm of one foot going ahead of the other. Notice what part of your feet are making contact with the ground. When do you feel your heel or the middle of your foot or your toes making contact with the ground? Is it a motion that's rolling from your heels to your toes, or is it more of a stomp? And we're not noticing this with judgment. We're noticing this with curiosity. Just being present with and aware of things that we don't normally slow down to notice. As you're noticing your feet making contact with the ground, you can start to bring that awareness up through your legs very slowly, starting just with your ankles. What movement in your ankles do you notice as you walk? What do you feel in your calves or in your knees? How engaged are your quads or your hamstrings? You can pause and consider, what do you feel in your hips, this remarkable joint that plays such an essential role in our ability to walk on 2 feet? And then notice your spine. How's your spine feeling? You can consider very slowly, starting at the base of your spine and moving upward. Considering what it feels like in your lower back, the middle of your back, your upper back, and your neck. You can go all the way to the crown of your head. On your way there, stop and notice what it feels like as breath is entering and leaving your body through your mouth or your nose. And how is your walking, your movement, impacting your breathing? Let yourself notice the interplay of the movement of your feet and your legs, how you're holding your back, how your spine feels, how the breath is entering your body and leaving your body. You can see if you notice whether or not you're aware of your heartbeat. Of that blood pumping through your veins. I encourage you to take just a couple deep cleansing breaths, letting yourself sigh with your exhales. Clearing out tension, stress, worry, distraction. If there's anything that's kind of been nagging at you thus far, you can gently place it on a shelf or in a drawer or in a jar, knowing that you can come back to it at the end of this time after your walk. But for right now, it's not helpful pulling at your brain and pulling that attention away. As you continue your deep breaths, you continue your movement one foot in front of the other, I encourage you to think about what the walk of your soul has been like recently. So in the same way that we have considered the cadence of our walk, the ways that our feet are hitting the ground, that our joints are working together, that our body is being supported, what are ways that might symbolize or describe the walk of your soul as of late? You might think, has it felt sluggish? Has it felt jittery and fast-paced? Has it felt restless? Has it been more like a stroll, maybe a strenuous hike? Maybe it feels like a walk where you've been lost without a compass or a map. As you continue those nice deep breaths and one foot in front of the other, you can even ask yourself, kind of peek into that internal world, into that inward ecosystem of different facets of you, of the depths of your soul, and just ask, what has this walk been like, the walk of my soul recently? Remembering that there are absolutely no judgments. This is not an exercise to condemn or shame. This is an exercise to slow down and notice and mirror the posture that God has toward us, one of patience, kindness, compassion, and mercy. As you continue awareness of your breath with one foot in front of the other. Let yourself consider if there has been any strain or injury in this spiritual walk. You can let yourself explore symbolic or metaphoric ideas around what your spiritual walk has been like. Is there any part of you that feels dragged along? Any part of you that's not wanting to go? Something that comes to mind for me is I have a sister who has a few little kids, and one of them really does not like to go on walks. My sister likes to take her family on walks. I grew up going on walks with my family, so it's a bit of a tradition, a value. And one of her kids just digs their heels in and does not want to go when it's suggested we're going to go for a walk. And this sweet little one will protest and be really upset, and then generally within 5 minutes probably is having the best time ever, and is happy that they went on the walk. But before getting to that point, there's a very real hesitation, a very real pause, a very real thickness even to how much this little kid does not want to go on a walk, and how much this little kid then feels forced and dragged along and upset that they're being forced and dragged along. I wonder if that might be a helpful picture or depiction of what things can sometimes feel like with parts of us that we drag into church, that we drag into Bible study, that we drag into counseling, that we just drag with us to even the regular parts of our day, having silenced out any of the protests or concern. And continuing those nice deep breaths, if you can resonate with this at all, I encourage you to take a moment, try to connect with this part of you, and consider what might be going on, again, without any kind of judgment, without any kind of condemnation or shame or sense of you just need to get in line, or you're making this more difficult than it needs to be. Nothing like that. Bringing with you the embodiment of Christ's mercy and compassion, patience and care. And for the rest of your walk, I encourage you to just start a dialogue with this part of you and see what comes up. And as always, working through other facets and layers of this with a trusted helper, whether that be a counselor, therapist, spiritual mentor, pastor, or trusted friend. Amen.